I knew that things were going south. I mean, it's just the way it was. And anyway, so I've been waiting. You got to think about that. That I've been waiting some 30 years. I know a lot of the younger people, they look at this and they think, this is, just their movement. I can understand that a little bit because in the 70s, it was the saying, never trust anybody over 30. But anyway, to me, I've got, I have a lot invested in this myself, just because I've been going through 30 years of seeing our country and the world completely just go downhill because of, and this is something I think maybe makes some people a little uncomfortable if they listen to the play, Life Over Gold, that I'm just telling like it is. There's only one truth. And the truth is, the Republicans have been working for the 1%, and the 1% are what's the corporatists, the very super wealthy, basically the fascists, and they have been they're, like I say in the play, they're greed gluttons. They'll never be satisfied, and they're destroying the world and at an ever fast pace. So when I started to see that the Occupy Wall Street movement was sort of in decline, or well, not sort of, it was definitely in decline from the peak here in Portland of around 10,000, going down to, started to get down to maybe 1,000 people by the time the winter had hit. And I understand when it's colder out, there's not going to be as much activity, but it just basically dissolved. It just dissipated. And so it was really bothering me, because I'm thinking, this is not only finally it's about time that something's happened, but I see this as, this is do or die. Seriously, do or die for the planet and for all life on the planet. And so one evening, it was middle of the night, got up, used the restroom, and it was really cold out. It was particularly cold here for Portland. I was thinking about the homeless people, and I was thinking about a group here. It's called the Night Watch. So I thought, geez, it's just, I can't imagine being, and all of a sudden it just came to me, a play, it would just be the perfect way for all the 99 percenters to get involved, and it would be a non-threatening, unobtrusive way to be able to get the word out to people who were kind of sitting on the fence, or in some cases, never really, were comfortable with the whole thing, and so that's where it all started. And I decided the best way to do it, I felt that, first of all, I felt that there was really a lack of an anchoring for not just the young people, but certainly the younger people, as well as the older, but the anchoring to our American history, and the founding fathers and what they went through to provide this democracy for us that has just been, taken away, not entirely, but it's been eroded. And because there's so much propaganda out there on the right, they're completely rewriting history. So to me, that was really important, was to establish a little bit of the real history of America without getting to sounding like a history lesson. So the way I did this was I wanted to make it like the Christmas Carol, with where they come, the spirit comes and gets Scrooge, and they go to Christmas past, and then to Christmas present, and then ultimately Christmas future. So this is what it is, really, is a 99% Occupy Wall Street version of the Christmas Carol. And in it, I certainly don't pull any punches, because this is really, this is not something we can just step around. I speak to child labor that was going on at the beginning of the 1900s, because I feel like that's where we're heading. And so I really wanted to talk to that, and as well as to the Great Depression that the fascists, with the help of the Republicans, who were just, after all, serving their corporate masters back then in the 20s, just as they are today. It's just history repeating itself. And to that, I of course went into a little bit about, quite a bit actually, about FDR and the socialist programs, and really how socialism saved America from the ditch that the fascist agenda had put her in. And I would say to that, who knows what the outcome would have been of World War II had it not been for FDR, and let's just call it what it was, socialism. It's very likely it would not have turned out in our favor. And so I speak to all of that, and as I come up right on up through history, right up to present day. So that's what the play is about. That's where it kind of came from. That's not where it came, that's where it came from. The whole inspiration for it. And okay, we'll go on up. All right, we're going to just take a break here, and we're going to go on upstairs, and we'll continue from there. And I just touch upon things that are, I could spend days with this play, but to try to boil it down as short as as I could, I just kind of really focused on the very beginning, the American Revolution, and then I jumped to the turn of the the early 1900s, where child labor, children were being exploited by corporatists and businesses for their cheap labor. And this is, to me, all part of where we're heading. To me, it's sort of like takes us back by doing that with the turn of the century. It takes us back to where we're about to go if we don't change things. And so the rest of Life Over Gold really talks about what happened already with the crash in the 30s, a little bit of discussion about this shadow government, false flags that take us to war for profit. To me, there's no way around it. We the people, as the founders of this country, our founding fathers had set it up. To me, that is a socialist precept. And I'm not one that's anti-capitalism. I think that everything in moderation, so to speak, is good. I think it's almost like, if you think about, if we're going to play anything other than just catch with the baseball, if we're actually going to have a game, we're probably going to need a bat. If we go with the baseball analogy. And capitalism, to me, is the bat that we need in order to have this game, to have everything work for everybody, so that it isn't just stale, so that people can actually, if they work hard, achieve things, and a better life for their children. But using the baseball analogy, I think that no capitalism would be like no bat. And too much capitalism would be like, if you had a bat that just went on for 30 or 40 feet, it gets unwieldy, and it becomes its own, it crashes the game. So I thought it was really important to reference the history, especially with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, where, to me, he was a socialist. Everything he did was in the context of what a socialist would do. Assert that if it were not for FDR and socialism, the socialist moves that he made, I don't know that America would have ever came out of the depression that the fascists put us in. And they were fascist. It was corporatism, an oligarchy, just what we're seeing today. And it was because of no regulation, and there's just no way around it. It is the Republicans, it was the Republicans then, and the Republicans as of the last 30, 40 years, that absolutely do the bidding of the 1%. I know people sometimes say, oh, where are you going with that labels, and let's just all try to get along, that's divisive. But there's no way you can tell the truth and not tell the truth. And the truth of the matter is, largely it has been the Republicans who have been doing the bidding of their masters, who are the 1%. The corporatist, the fascist agenda, which is a government of, for, and by the very wealthy only, and the corporations. That is not what our founding fathers wanted. They wanted a government of, for, and by we, the people. A government where it didn't matter what family you were born into or how much money you had, that if you made and put forth the effort, you could better your life. And that, to me, is what democracy is all about. And to democracy itself, when America really flourished and really thrived, was when the unions began to really take hold. The unions created the middle class. The middle class is the backbone of America, of democracy. So that is what a lot of the life over gold, that's what it speaks to. And then, of course, it moves all the way through history, all the way to present day. And it is, going back to the beginning here, it is my hope that it will be, people will, in cities and towns across America, will put on an Occuplay, a lip sync Occuplay. Everything's there. I've got the tapes, the CDs. You can even just go off of YouTube. All you need is an amplifier and a park, and you've got the play. There's even a script to go with it if you would like to not go off of the soundtracks. So I feel, again, that it's a way to get in an unintrusive way, put the blame on me, but in an unintrusive way, non-threatening way, to get people to stop and listen. And let's face it, if we can't get people to gather and get people on board with this, if it just, turns out that everybody's turned off, or we just only stay at, like 1%, the 99% really just stays at 1%, well, we're going to be the laughing stock. If we're not already. We need to gather people. We need to gather support. And that is what the Occuplay Life Over Gold is all about. And I encourage everyone, of course, to do it, to go and perform my Occuplay. But I also encourage people to come up with their own Occuplay, or anything that they can come up with that's creative, that isn't going to be something that the media can just beat us over the head with, or that and that would involve the police. Because as soon as you get the police, and I say this in my play, as soon as you get the police involved, then you get the media, and pretty much vice versa. And the media always likes to have this villain hero kind of narrative going. They actually kind of pushed the police into starting trouble with people in the Occupy. And as you know, it only takes a handful of people to get in an incident, whether they're to blame or not. And the media loves it, because if it bleeds, it leads. And that then gets into people's homes, and people go, oh, geez, they're just a bunch of troublemakers. And of course, that immediately just dissolves the whole message. We've gotten far enough with the message so far that it seems that if we can just now sort of have get back on track with something like the Occuplays in the park in a non-threatening environment. People will go by and even walking by will go, what is this, and they may just tune in for a moment or two, and that can be duplicated all across America and even the rural for that matter. And it seems like it's the thing to do, because otherwise I really do feel like they think they've won. They know that whatever the people that are out there now is pretty much all that's going to be. And I just think that's absolutely, completely unacceptable. I always, I love the fact that people pay more attention and care more about, for example, their football team than they do about their country, or so it seems. And here in Oregon, we have what's called Autzen Stadium here. It's just a college, down in Eugene. It's for college ball. And we'll get 65,000 people in the stadium. And yet, college ball game. And here in Portland, the liberal hub of the universe, here in Portland, we've got, on our best day with the Occupy, we had around 10,000 people. It was 10,000 and growing up until the media got, the police, and the police got, they started doing the bad press little number, and then it dwindled down, and before you knew it, I think we were probably lucky to see 2,000. But what I'm saying here is, you got to be kidding me. I mean, really, seriously, we are on the brink of no return. We may have already passed it, and yet we're still able to see 60,000 plus filling a stadium, a college stadium for a college football game, and we're not able to do better than 10,000 in the city the size of Portland that is progressive at that. There's something really wrong here, and that's why I'm saying we need to gather people, and that is where my Occuplay Life Over Gold, that's where it all, that's what it's all about. Because when I was watching as the crowds got smaller and smaller, the only thing that kept coming to my mind was, we have to gather the people. The people are apparently turned off by these marches and blocking traffic, and heaven forbid somebody being 5 minutes late to work in the name of democracy. So a nice Saturday or Sunday afternoon in the park, people walking by and they start to say, hey, wait a minute, what is this? Of course I say do it for free, obviously. We're not going to charge anything. That's the whole idea of it, is to just get information out. With that information, what I would suggest with the Occuplay Life Over Gold is, if you can just hand out even a smallest little strip of paper and say, if you don't have the time to watch this play here, or you miss parts of it, go to the hubofliberty.org.com.us. It's under all of those, and from there you can link to it and go watch it on YouTube. And also to that, if people would like to donate, what I would like to have with my Occuplay, of course, anybody feel free to do your own, of course. Everybody's got their own thing that they can contribute to this. But what I'd like to see is if there's any donations that they could be given to the homeless, because to me they're at the absolute opposite end of the 1%ers that are the filthy rich. And a lot of people can say, well, there's any number of reasons why these people are homeless, and I say absolutely. And what we don't want to do is ever just kick our brothers and sisters when they're down. We need to help them, and even if that means just being able to sustain some sort of something of dignity. That's what we need to do. So anyways, I digress there, but by using the Occuplay Life Over Gold to get people to be informed and to start to get them kind of excited, I consider it sort of as a restart, in my opinion, to the 99% movement, because I realize there's people that were in it that are still in it, but we lost a lot, and to me we lost an awful lot that we never really got, and I think we can get them with this Occuplay. So Life Over Gold. So anyway, that's really all I wanted to say, other than if anybody goes to the Hub of Liberty or goes to on YouTube to Life Over Gold, and you want to contact me, please feel free. I've got some ideas, of course, that everything's sort of, I wanted to say sort of fluid. I didn't really want to build a complete template that this is how it will be done. I'm hoping that if it's done in 100 different cities, it's done 100 different ways. Because to me, it's just the way it is. The 99% movement. It's an organic thing. It should be as sort of allowed to be in as much of a flexible state as possible, but always, at least is my hope, moving forward and gathering more and more people. So anyway, well, thank you very much for hearing me out. And I say, let's, my motto is, instead of revolution, we need an evolution. So let's evolve and let's go occupy the parks with the Occuplay Life Over Gold. And remember, we are the 99%. We are who we have been waiting for, and we have arrived. And so here's to we the people, and here's to the 99% Occupy Wall Street. Long live the Occupy Wall Street movement. Thank you very much.